rehearsing in the evening. And so, yes, we did agree with unions, and it was explained by the COVID team expert. Daily testing has not been implemented anywhere in the world. Even the White House West Wing people, some don't go through even daily testing. So daily testing is not the issue. It's being able, if there's an incident, isolate, to contact trace, and to test and to deal with those citizens. And that is what the Ghana has done so well that our maps are different from other nations' maps. So the issue of NAT, if you have followed NAT carefully, NAT has moved on, and they started with no school should be opened. They came to present their 19-point proposal. Discussions have been had, agreements have been reached, and where we are, and we will continue. Not all teachers stay on campus. It's not only pantry staff. Even teachers who are teaching the kids directly for the 4 hours they will be in school or 6 hours. Not all of them stay in school. Even in senior high schools, there are a sizable number of teachers, even in university, who stay outside campus and come. But I always tell people to draw their mind. They should be smart about the COVID. You maintain all your social protocols. You work as a teacher. Your wife works as a yam seller in the market. Who is going to give the COVID to who? And send it to the school or take it out of the school? Or the junior high school student coming from home, coming to school, is he the one bringing it to the teacher or is the teacher? So we don't have to work like that. We have to work according to the science and the experts. That fear should not be what drives us. The data, it should be what drives us. And the data is saying that if you can keep the social distances, if you can get the face masks to wear, if you can have the Veronica test to wash your hands with soap, or you can have the sanitizer to sanitize your hands, and you can keep that distance of 1 meter protocol in this country, you are safe to interact. If the class is not going to be more than 100, in our classes it's 25 or 30, you are safe to interact. You are safe to do private weddings if they are not more than 50, so more than 100. So those are the sensibilities we are bringing into the schools. And that is why not all schools are being reopened. It's only the final year students to finish their exams. And I say that it is the final exam years. It's the final exam years. Borders remain closed. So if you can bring your students, you claim you have students in Liberia. Is there a flight from Liberia? And I carefully explained. So right in Liberia, and so it shouldn't be a problem for you. It shouldn't be a problem for you. But if you are going to write exams, those protocols must be observed. The kids, senior high schools and the junior high schools will be writing BEC and WASI. Why? Because if you look at an examination hall, even before COVID, they had social distances. Because during exam, some nets grew astronomically in length for exams, so they did bring in the social protocols. So we would respect those social protocols. And like I said, it's for really the final examination classes. Some are writing certificates, some are writing all other courses. And please, all students are going to be provided a set of face masks, a set of 3. And the schools are going to be sprayed of COVID. And then the Veronica buckets and sanitizers will be provided. There's a special team, Ghana Health Service, Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Information, police, military, under the office of the senior minister, working on that issue. So they will deal with that. Thank you.
We're going to take a second batch of 3. 1, 2. I'll come to you later. Let me go to the gentleman at the back. 3. So 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. Please step up.
My name is Festus Longmati. I am with the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition. I want to find out what the Ministry of Education government is doing to support the Ghana Education Service to ensure that education on the safe protocols are put in a simple format for children with special education needs, so that these children are not left out.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Joshua Smith. My question is, in relation to the fumation exercise, we realize that the president says the Ministry of Education, together with the heads of the private schools and the public schools, should ensure that it's being done. But here, how is the ministry going to ensure that they monitor to ensure that most of the schools are held so that the students will not find themselves wanting?
So what is the ministry mechanism for monitoring the disinfection of schools?
And then a verification to this. WASI is an exam that is being done by most of the West African countries. But there's a case where Ghanaian students are going to school to go and prepare and then to find out from the ministry, how are the students going to write these exams when the other countries are not allowing their students to go into the school to go and participate in this?
Fair question. You have two questions. I'll take your final question.
Thank you. My name is Larry Odo from the Colleges of Education Weekly Journal. I want to ask the Prime Minister, the final crop of diploma student teachers in colleges of education in their final years. I don't know whether they're going to fall under the university reopening plan. And then my second question is, student teachers in colleges of education are paid a monthly stipend when they're on campus. But for the sake of COVID, they've been home for some time now and still in virtual lessons. Most of them are crying for their monthly stipends. Will government pay them in this period? Thank you.
Thank you. Did I see some hands at the back to take a final batch of questions? One, so that we can box the Honorable Minister. He has to attend to Parliament this morning. So is there a final batch? One. Is there a final batch? One, two. Are there questions? Madam, please come up. Are there any other questions? So this will be our final two, and then Honorable Minister will respond to that. We wrap up. Yes, sir.
My name is John Elliott. I want to know what will happen to final year students who are not allowed into the country as a result of their borders closed. What are the measures the ministry has in place for them?
But I thought that question was... It was answered a few minutes ago.
Okay, all right.
Okay, do you have that question?
I don't know the problem.
Okay, that question was answered a few minutes ago. Madam, we'll give you the final word.
Thank you. My name is Macy Thompson, Joy News. The minister made mention that on the Public Universities Bill, contrary concerns that the freedom of the universities will be curtailed, he said it would rather be enshrined. I want him to clarify on that bit. Also, some contact tracers are saying that they haven't been paid for a while now. I want to know what the arrangements are. And then...
No, that question is not for education. We'll take it, note it, and then when our from health join us, for the subsequent briefings, we'll respond to that. Some contact tracers say they haven't been paid.
Yes.
Which ones are these? Is there a specific area they are coming from?
No, like general.
Okay, so maybe the question is, what's the status of payment for contact tracers?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Mamesi, we'll take that under advisement and then we'll get a response from you. Minister, so once you put it all together, then we'll be fine.
Ghana National Education Concern Coalition or Campaign Coalition. The Director General is sitting next to you. The Director General for Ghana Education Service is sitting next to you, and very close to the Chairman of Council and the Deputy. In fact, the Deputy Director General for Access Quality is sitting behind you as well. I think they have, it is not the ministry coming here to speak. It is the work that has been done by the implementing agencies. The Ghana Education Service, the National Council of Tertiary Education, the universities, Ghana Health Service, and all other stakeholder unions. The meetings are not publicized. It doesn't mean they haven't happened. But the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition have given us bills for special schools. Okay. This is just to say that the work is ongoing and all stakeholders are participating. They operate the schools. And if the schools are not safe to open, I'm not sure they would open the schools. The safety of the vulnerable is even more paramount. When we say we are going to do aggressive school re-entry campaigns, especially for the vulnerable, to make sure that they are not left behind. So that is all an implementation policy they are going to do. And I think if we are not supporting them, we would not hear. And they know that it has even been escalated to a committee under the senior minister to ensure that the implementation is followed through. And they met yesterday, and today they are meeting as well to ensure that everything, including making sure that the institutions are speaking, the face masks are given, the Veronica buckets, and the sanitizers, and soap, and whatnot. So there's a team working. Monitoring. We should be each keeper. COVID is one of the few diseases where my skin depends upon your actions. And somebody's safety depends upon my actions. Like I said previously in this podium, if I don't move, you don't get the virus if I have it. So we should be others keeper in this time. Church services are being gradually opened. Mosques, churches. It's not about government monitoring. It's about we all monitoring and making sure that the church next door to your house, if they are not following the protocols, you either have to speak to the pastor, speak to the authorities to come to the church to visit them. The staff of the Ministry of Education is less than 100. We cannot be everywhere. But we hope that the policies that the experts have put together are sensible enough for everybody to follow. And that is why they will do a sensitization program of school leaders and school heads to ensure that everybody understands what we are unfolding. There will be leaflets and publicity campaigns to ensure that. But we have to understand that somebody's misaction or somebody flouting is a danger to all of us here. If you have a fever, don't go to school. We expect no parent to send a child to school when the child is unwell. If we can all do our bits, I think we can kill this virus as quickly as possible. Examination. WASI. Somebody asked the question. When you go to some West African countries, they have their national exam. In fact, Ghana had a national exam plus the WASI till 2014 or 2012 there. We have the SSCE and we have the West Africa Exams Council. We have discussed elaborately with the Ghana West Africa Examination Council, and they are doing a Ghana-specific exam because the other countries are not operating. Day diploma students. I know that your allowances are being processed, and the executive secretary of NCT and is here, and chief director of the ministry. If you have the evidence that they can show you letters that requirement has moved from the Ministry of Education to the Ministry of Finance for processing. It is not given every month. The allowances are not given every month. It is meant for a semester. So they are given for the 4 months that the semester occurs. So there's a maximum amount of money you can claim in a semester. So if it is given as championing and they stay for a longer time, extras won't be given because they are giving for a period. And that answers the stipend. The final year diploma students are certificate students that have to go to school. So the NCT will work it out with. In fact, this afternoon I had a meeting with the colleges of education in my office, like I had with the vice chancellor. So we will roll it out nicely. There was something about final year from Joy FM. I never understood it. There's a question you asked about final year. I I said, and I'll say it again so that everybody hears clear, the first time ever in the history of this country that a Public University Act or a University Act has included sessions on academic freedom is what is in the Public University Bill. Never in the history of this country. Thank you.
Honourable Minister, I want a big thank you for making time to be with us this evening and to respond to the queries that came up, and also to present to us, more important, details of what it means to ease restrictions for final years who have exams to write in academic institutions. Colleagues, what time would allow us this morning? I want to say thank you. Tomorrow morning, we would have another Minister of State, non-contact, but to commence some sort of... Thank you very much.